I said that we've got so much to cram in. We've not even spoken about Bam Rodriguez stopping Juan Estrada in the 7th round of their fight. Bam now, without a shadow of a doubt, pound for pound, top 6, top 7. Incredible story, incredible fighter. And he's almost knocking off all the old guard. Obviously, Sonny Edwards was crammed in the middle, but he's beat Rungvisai, he's beat Quadras, he's now beat Estrada. There's only one left, and that's Chocolatito, and he would have cleared through all the old guard at Fly and Superfly. Incredible fighter.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to spend some decent amount of time with this guy because, as you say, look, there's one thing to say about this. There's a 10-year gap. I mean, Estrada hadn't been stopped before or beaten up like that before. And I think Bam Rodriguez looked extraordinary on the night. And he got a little lesson, which was don't get too overconfident and don't get caught sideways and off balance. Don't get caught front on and off balance. And he got put down in the 6th round before stopping El Gallo, the rooster, no longer the cock of the walk, by the way, in the 7th round. So 10-year gap at that weight division at Superfly. You can't be an elite fighter. I mean, it defies logic anyway, Estrada, as does Chocolatito, Roman Gonzalez Chocolatito. You cannot continue at elite level and keep your weight and your body conditioned into your mid-30s. It almost defies logic, Eddie. We know that heavyweights can get better in their mid-30s if they've looked after themselves. But the lighter guys, they cannot do that. And so I think what we saw was the young upstart, the young pretender, if you like, really taking over on Saturday night. All the things that... And the commentary team at DAZN did a very good job of describing that on the night. And I thought they did a good job because what we didn't see from Estrada was how brilliant his jab was on the night or how effective he is at close range or how brilliant his footwork is and how smooth he is. Because he tried all of those things and he came back a little bit after the 4th round after he got knocked down and hurt. And he couldn't do anything with Bam. His crabbing movements and his power, he's going to be very special. And I love the fact they should just call him the baby-faced assassin because he looks about 17. And then when he puts his glasses on and disappears with that tattoo gone here, he just looks like some kid who plays esports.
It's funny you say disappears because he does that. After a fight, he puts his glasses on and retreats back and almost disappears from the limelight and then comes back again to fight. And I just wonder, for Eddie, that must be a bit of a nightmare, knowing that you've got a superstar, but unfortunately, you've got a superstar that doesn't really talk. I love Bam. Doesn't really talk, doesn't really sell fights the way maybe Eddie would like, but is so special. And I wonder if someone's going to have to kind of pull him and say, maybe show us a bit more, maybe show us a bit more behind the scenes, because he doesn't do that. And it's okay doing that or not doing that when you've got a Canelo following or a Manny Pacquiao following. Bam doesn't have that following yet. So I do wonder what they're going to do there with that.
Yeah. I just think they're going to let him be himself. I mean, as Eddie says, you know, he is on the way to being top 10 pound for pound if they haven't installed him already anyway. I mean, some people will have, I'm sure.
I think the Ring put him at number 7.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you know, what it reminds me of at the moment is that run that Josh Taylor had between 2018 and 2021, where
spot on.
Victor Postol had lost one fight. Then he fought Baranchik, Regis Prograis,
and Ramirez.
Ramirez, all those guys. There was something like his opponents were like 120-1.
Yeah.
And he went to number 5 in the ring rankings, and he deserved it. We don't know how long Bam is going to last. We don't know how. Something I've been thinking about recently is that we need to celebrate people's purple patches a bit more when they look invincible, when they have everything on their side, where their mind and their body are so aligned that they're doing the zen of boxing, that they're unsurpassable. And you know, Bam may come unstuck in a year and a half. He's 20-0 now with 13 KOs. He may come unstuck in 2 years' time by some Thai fighter that's just come through who's going to smash him. I don't think Sonny Edwards is going to have a lot of chance rematching him. I don't think his style. I think he's got his number. But, you know, he's done it at... The fight for him, if I really think about it, is he's done fly and superfly. Bam could step up to bantam straight away and fight, in my view. And then
I know where you're going.
Naoya Inoue is the fight.
It's the super fight. It really is. I agree.
But
Inoue's a 122. Bam's a 115. They're not a million miles apart.
It could be 2 fights away. It's the fight that Eddie puts together with Top Rank and the Japanese promoters, Bob Arum and the Japanese promoters that look after Naoya Inoue. That's career defining. Like I say, he's beaten Sri Rung Vasai. He's beaten Chocolatito is there for him, like you say. That's an important fight, and that's probably next.
Yeah, and then that's it. Very quickly, it's been a long segment. This one, the Ring magazine did an interesting 2029. So they predicted what the pound for pound list is going to look like in 5 years. They had Jaron Ennis as number 1 pound for pound. It never works out like this, but Bam Rodriguez is number 2. Nakatani, interestingly, at number 3. Opataya at number 4. And Abdullah Mason at number 5. That's what they had as their projected pound for pound list in the next 5 years. I've never seen a projected pound for pound list like that, but that's what they've got.
I think Tom Gray did it, didn't he? I think
it's interesting.
Tom told me he was doing it, or looking ahead anyway, certainly to what would happen. I'm just trying to think.
Who are they missing?
Well, Tank Davis, Shaka Stevenson, these are still fairly young men.
Tank's 30, so he's probably...
Is he 30 already? Gosh.
Tank's 30. I want to talk about Tank actually in a minute, but Tank's 30. Yeah. But you're right, Shakur Stevenson is relatively young. He should be and will be in that list. Unless something's gone dramatically wrong, Shakur should still be a pound-for-pound fighter in 5 years. If he hasn't, then it's gone wrong.
Yeah, it's very hard, very, very difficult to predict. Go back 5 years and you couldn't have predicted what was happening in boxing in the slightest. You'd have said that, go back 5 years and you said that Joshua and Wilder would have fought. They'll never fight, even though Anthony Joshua was saying...
Still wants it, AJ, which is strange.
Yeah. Still wants Wilder, you mean?
Yeah, still wants Wilder. I'm like, why do you want him for?
Because he wants to round the era. How awful would it be? Well, can we talk about this when we come to that section on Wembley later on in the show? Because even though we've almost done a section on Wembley, AJ could potentially end up not fighting Wilder and Fury in this era.
Crazy.
I mean,
crazy.
Who could have predicted that 5 years ago? You couldn't.
Especially with the money on offer. It's crazy to think that those fights won't happen. And I don't think they will, but we'll get to that, as you say.